Yo, YouTube, what's up? Welcome back to the Radar for Wrestling Studios.
What up, Marks?
Guys, Monday Night Raw just finished up. Another lackluster episode of Monday Night Raw. We got information going into the Elimination Chamber as to who's taking part. It will be the WWE Championship defended in the Elimination Chamber by Drew McIntyre, with 5 former WWE champions in there with him. Edge showed up on Monday Night Raw tonight for some interesting back and forth with The Miz. And stay tuned to the end of this video because we're going to drop some news on celebrities in wrestling. We have three... Our favorite thing in the world. 3 individuals from outside WWE seem to be maybe making their way to WWE, so make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video for that. But let's get into our one takeaway from Monday Night Raw. Before we do it, you guys drop a like and a comment on here. Helps out the YouTube algorithm. Plus, we appreciate the community starting to grow and getting more of your opinions on the videos and the current products, so continue to do so. We love hearing from you guys and all that good stuff. If you're watching, not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Shout out to the new subscribers to the channel. Notification bell, guys, when new videos drop. Social media all over the screen. You guys know what to do with that. Let's get right into it. One takeaway from Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw started off with Adam Pearce in the ring. Adam Pearce segment as per usual. Yep. He's in there talking about Elimination Chamber. Then he gets interrupted by the returning Shane McMahon. After they got rid of Raw Underground, we have seen Shane McMahon since. He comes back. He's in there. And they announced the Elimination Chamber match. It is going to be Drew McIntyre defending his WWE Championship against, I believe it's Randy Orton, Sheamus, AJ Styles, The Miz, and Jeff Hardy. So all former champs. We'll see that match. It looks like it may be pretty good. They got a good set of guys in there. But the interesting thing about this is that the man who's upset about it is Sheamus. Sheamus thought he was going to get a one-on-one versus Drew McIntyre, but he's extremely upset about it. So we could see him get physical with Adam Pearce later on or something like that. But we see him later on in the main event. What happened after this was AJ Styles would come out, cut a promo, and then he would get interrupted by Jeff Hardy, and it'll be AJ Styles versus Jeff Hardy. But before I want to talk about one thing. Omos stared down Shane McMahon like they didn't know each other. So they're kind of just acting like Raw Underground didn't happen whatsoever. Like it never existed.
They completely erased it because basically as we remember, every Raw Underground started with Shane McMahon walking up to the door and it was almost there, and he was like, "All right, man, let me in," and it was like that. I guess they just were like, "Oh, erase that from memory."
Yeah, they're acting like it didn't happen whatsoever. So the match happens: Styles versus Hardy. Styles gets the win with the submission, the calf crusher. Pretty much it. Not much else to talk about there. They'll probably have this going on until Chamber. It's just a bunch of the opponents fighting each other, and the matches, random matches throughout the next few Monday Night Raw. So
talk about lazy booking.
Yeah, so be prepared for that because you're gonna get a lot of that. Next thing on the show was the New Day versus Retribution's T-Bar and Slapjack. New Day get the win, and Mustafa Ali was super upset about this. Really did not take it well. Was angry in the ring with the rest of the Retribution members. So maybe the breakup is finally happening. It was funny though because he was talking all that trash, and then Xavier Woods kept saying back to him, "Where's Reckoning at? Where's Reckoning? Where's Mia Yim? Like, where's Reckoning at?" That was pretty funny.
God, how they've fallen. They're never really up, so I guess they've just been lingering at the bottom. Yeah,
they were kind of just there in the beginning, and it's just all downhill from there. We know they love to shit on Retribution each and every week, so we always do that. Just for you guys, we shit on Retribution just for you guys.
I'm gonna miss them when they're gone, man.
Yes. Next thing on the show was Ric Flair and Lacey Evans coming out. Ric Flair explained why he chose Lacey Evans, basically saying that they both wanted to achieve a higher level through shared respect, and the way that Charlotte doesn't need him, but he found somebody that does. And then here comes Lacey Evans talking her jive. She's talking about how is she the bad guy in the situation if she's using him to show respect to him and all stuff like that. How she's learning from him because he's the greatest wrestler ever. A lot of nonsense. It's not a great storyline, right? Charlotte.
Why does Rick need any of that?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Ric Flair.
He doesn't need any of that. But Charlotte comes out to interrupt. She cuts her promo talking trash about Lacey Evans, how this makes Lacey Evans look and all that like that. So they end up having a match. Evans attacks Charlotte. She accepts the match. The match happens. Evans gets the win by disqualification. So that's pretty much it. I think this is a terrible storyline, but it continues. Not sure why. Not sure where it's headed. Lacey Evans gets a title shot against Asuka at Elimination Chamber. So we'll see what happens with that. They could be working to Lacey Evans versus Charlotte for the title at WrestleMania. That's the only thing I could see actually maybe happening here because the tag team titles are not in it no more. Peyton Royce and Lacey Evans seem to be not a team no more, so that's the only way I see it going.
Which isn't a terrible match because both girls are super athletic and they're both bigger and it'd be a great match. Just a storyline going in. Ric Flair is not. I don't know. It's just they're not using Ric Flair to get Lacey Evans over good enough for, especially after that explanation. It's like Ric Flair doesn't need anything. He's Ric Flair.
Yeah, it was not good. But let's see. The next thing on the show was Edge. He comes out and he's going to address, his status with the Royal Rumble as a Royal Rumble winner. He comes out and talks about Elimination Chamber, and it's takeaway number 1. See behind us, Edge will get interrupted by the Miz, but before he did, he would talk about waiting to see what happens after Elimination Chamber when the dust settles to make his decision. So I guess he has to choose Raw because he was gonna wait like a month to make a pick. He has to be choosing Raw, right? Because if he wasn't, he could just choose the other 2 brands and get it over with. So I don't think this is a good thing. I think it's kind of bad. But he gets interrupted by The Miz, John Morrison, and Angel Garza, wearing his pajama suit that he's wearing. But
look tight.
Yeah, so he comes out, they talk trash. Basically, Edge shits on Miz big time in this promo.
Extra hard.
Basically completely stays on a different level than he is mentally, physically, all this stuff. And just just shitting on him nonstop. Pretty much bringing Miz to where he was this low, and now he's even lower now. So that's the takeaway we have for you guys right there. Just the fact that Edge is going to wait that long, and then he comes out with the Miz, and he just gets shit on completely.
Yeah, this was it was a weird promo. I'm not saying it was bad. It just nothing happened. There was a lot of so basically I'm not gonna do anything for a while. The next month it's gonna be me just doing nothing.
Yeah.
Which is all right. And then we just take the Miz, who's been a joke for the last 6 months, and we're gonna make him hey, I told you my master plan, Edge, some evil villain from a terrible Bond movie, and Edge is you just told me your plan. What are you doing? And just shit on me the entire time.
Yeah.
So it was just a lot of nothing happened, and then we just shit on the Miz. It almost felt I feel like the Edge promo from SmackDown where Roman got kind of the upper hand, where it was well, if you're too scared, if you're not going to take me, then you're just basically a whip. So I think they're playing a thing with Edge where Edge is not, it's not as scripted. I think people are just going one-on-one with Edge, and I think the Miz just lost out because that was such a bad look for the Miz, unless they're doing that on purpose. I don't know why they need to shit him so bad, especially going into the Elimination Chamber, because he's definitely, in the match, and he has the Money in the Bank. You have to look at him as some type of threat. Edge destroyed him, where it's dude, you embarrass yourself. You just embarrass yourself. So I don't know. It was very strange why they needed to murder him so bad.
Yeah, it was weird. I don't understand why they did it either. But that's takeaway number 1. Edge coming out and proclaiming that he's going to take that long. So we'll see what happens, who he ends up picking.
Take a break the next month.
I mean, I assume he has to pick Drew McIntyre if he's going to take that long. But, we had the similar thing from Bianca Belair. She hasn't really announced. She got into some issues with Asuka in the backstage during the interview. So they're playing both the same. They don't really know who they're going to pick. They're trying to swerve you one way or another. But after this promo, we had a match between Damian Priest along with Bad Bunny. He's taking on Garza, Angel Garza. He gets the win, Priest, so they're building it up. But eventually this match is gonna, you're gonna see Priest get built up. Seems like a tag team match is coming at WrestleMania with Bad Bunny involved, but we'll get into that towards the end of the video.
Bad Bunny got promoed. I mean, got
pyro. He did get pyro. He came out
he's
blown
been
up.
here 2 weeks. He gets a freaking pyro already.
Yeah, big time. Next thing on the show, Keith Lee taking on Riddle. The return of Keith Lee. We hadn't seen him for 3 weeks before. Along with the fact that he wasn't at the Royal Rumble, he comes back and he's taking on Riddle. Immediately thrown into the whole Bobby Lashley situation. So it's Riddle versus Keith Lee. Lee gets the win. He looked really good here. And then you have Lashley coming out afterwards and beating both guys up. So it's announced Elimination Chamber triple threat match for the U.S. Championship. Bobby Lashley, Riddle, and Keith Lee. So we'll see that going forward. But Keith Lee thrown right back into a mid-card role.
Which is good.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was going to be in the title picture, but I guess not. Maybe towards closer to WrestleMania, he will be, depending on what Edge chooses. But we'll see what happens. We're good to see Keith Lee finally make his return. Next thing on the show is the tables match we never thought we would actually get. It was Nia Jax along with Shayna Baszler taking on Lana with Naomi. And in the end, I thought it was somewhat entertaining to finish it here. How Lana pushed Nia Jax into one of those tables that were just kind of staged on the outside. And she went through it, and Lana gets the win here. So I thought it was pretty interesting.
Nia Jax, she got hit in the back, and she's like, "Oh, my hole." I was like,
yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, that was funny.
What did she mean by "oh, my hole"?
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
It was a wild little segment.
So after Lana gets the win here, throwing Nia Jax to a table, you have Naomi taking on Shayna Baszler right after, and Naomi gets the win here. So they have their matchup. I believe it's at Elimination Chamber. They're going to get their title opportunity against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. I figure they should just give this to Lana and Naomi because Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler is a team I'm just tired of.
Yeah, and I just hate when they book the match during a commercial break. It really just chaps my ass. I don't like it. Just stop doing that. Please stop doing that.
Yeah, I mean, they got to time that out differently, I would assume, to get that done. Yeah,
it's so lazy. Oh, we're just gonna start a match. Everyone's GM. We can just do whatever we want now. Yeah. It's just, come on, man. Come on.
Yeah. Next thing on the show was the main event. Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. We've seen this match a bunch of times and it continues on, but it was a pretty solid match. Orton gets the win here by DQ because Sheamus comes out and attacks Drew McIntyre, causing the disqualification. But in the end, he gets a Claymore and Sheamus, gets knocked out, and Drew McIntyre stands tall above Sheamus. So Sheamus really upset that he's not getting the singles match at Elimination Chamber. It's going to be part of the Chamber, but we'll see what going forward. I'm actually not completely sure if McIntyre's going to come out of that champion.
Yeah, it was a weird ending. I get it, but I don't know if you need to have a Randy versus Drew match, like a big match like that, and then kind of end it that way. It just kind of felt pointless, and I don't know. It looked dumb at the end, where Sheamus still gets rocked at the end and gets a Claymore kick, and it's still Drew standing tall, both guys on the ground. I don't know. I guess it makes Drew look better, but he's already champ. Does he need to look better? I don't know. I think if anything, you have to make Sheamus or Randy look more formidable for his title and make it more interesting going in. And Sheamus just looked like a complete dumbass. So I don't know. Whatever. It's Raw. Bad booking. We make up matches as we go. Nothing's really good. We just shit on the Miz. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, and like you got 2 matches for the Chamber already. Like two matches that had people facing each other in the Chamber match. Next week you'll get the same, a different combination. The week after that you get the same, and then the Chamber will be right around the corner, and that's it.
I feel like this is every Chamber. We have the same 5 or 6 matches like of the guys in the Chamber that match. It's like, come on, why do we need to just do anything else? This reminds me of the Survivor Series when doing those terrible matches going into the team. Like it's just like, this is lazy, boring booking. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to see it. It's like, we're gonna see these guys in a match. Why don't we just see them in 8 different matches leading into it? It takes away from the excitement of the match.
Yeah, it's just lazy booking. Something easy they fall back on. But
go to 2 hours.
Guys, that's our one takeaway from Monday Night Raw. Let's get to some news and rumors, and it all has to do with celebrities and non-WWE talent getting involved in WWE. So we have Bad Bunny already. He showed up at the Rumble. He showed up at the Monday Night Raw. 2 Monday Night Raws after. He's been hanging out with Damian Priest. It's reported that he's in the Performance Center training, trying to get ready for a WrestleMania match. It seems all roads seem to point to him teaming with Damian Priest, taking on Miz and Morrison, some type of tag team match at WrestleMania. I think if you're gonna do it, tag team match makes the most sense. They're doing an AW with Shaq. They haven't even a tag team match, mixed tag. I'm not a huge fan of this stuff, but he is a massive fan. He got pyro today, so it'll be pretty interesting to see Bad Bunny on the biggest stage at WrestleMania. It's kind of interesting.
Well, it's Mania since day one. Cyndi Lauper, the MTV Rock and Roll. That's what they do. They have a celebrity. We've seen Snooki. We've seen all types of Maria Menounos in matches. We've seen a bunch of different people in matches. So it's not Lawrence Taylor main evented a WrestleMania one. So it's just part of WrestleMania lore. Bad Bunny's a fan. Am I gonna go out there and say it's gonna be a good match? No, it's probably gonna suck. It's probably gonna be ridiculous. But if he's training, he's taking it serious, and good on him as a fan. Whatever, he's living out a dream that most of us want to live out, and he's doing it because he's rich and famous and he can do it. So good luck to him. Is it going to be memorable? Probably not. We'll forget about it. It'll be thrown into the lore of Snookies and all that crap from back in the day. So it is what it is.
I think it's more for Damian Priest. They're getting the rub off of Bad Bunny with Damian Priest.
That's a rub. How is it a rub?
Well, I mean, it's just like, he's a megastar, so people see him outside of the, that don't watch wrestling, see what Bad Bunny's doing. They see Damian Priest standing next to him. Especially Damian Priest now speaking Spanish a lot on television. He didn't really do that in NXT. So I mean, they could end up going the Razor Ramon route with him eventually, but now you see that. I think that's the whole point. They want people to outside come in, see Bad Bunny, see the guy he's standing next to, and Damian Priest. That's the whole point of it.
Good point. I mean, hopefully they don't waste Priest, because he was getting momentum in NXT, and they brought him up. I think when he was really hot in NXT, probably should have kept him down there. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But he has a WrestleMania match, right? As of now. Next person we have in the news is Bow Wow. Remember the rapper Bow Wow, formerly known as Little Bow Wow. Now he's Bow Wow. As he's older, he came out on Twitter and said he wants to team with Rey Mysterio and take on whatever tag team for the tag team titles. Dominic Mysterio was not too happy about this. He said, hey, that's my tag team partner. I don't know if this has any traction, if this is going to end up going anywhere. It's kind of interesting, though, how he would say that he wants to team up with Rey Mysterio and get in the ring. I don't think it's going to happen, though. It doesn't seem like Bow Wow. I don't know if he has any previous experience whatsoever, if he's even a fan himself. I don't know why he would bring this up, but he brought it up. And I don't know. It's something I don't want to see, but I guess it might, and maybe it might eventually happen. You never know.
I don't know. Bow Wow retired from rap, which is weird because he's like barely 30, and he's already, so I don't know. this doesn't make any sense, especially for them to come in. Maybe during SummerSlam time, or you want, because right now they're in a thing with him and Dom. It doesn't really make any sense to just be like, hey, I'm gonna go tag with Bow Wow because that's what I need to do. We're gonna get the belts. Like, you're not gonna get the belts. Come on, a tag team division is a joke, but it's not that big of a joke.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really make any sense. It doesn't jive with what's going on. We're in the middle of the road to WrestleMania. There's no reason to have Bow Wow come in and just go for the tag team titles. It doesn't make any sense. There's no point. You want to do this in during SummerSlam time and have a little fun little thing, go ahead. But right now it doesn't make much sense. And Bow Wow's not really that relevant. He hasn't been relevant in like super long time. I mean, like I said, he retired from hip hop. So what is he doing exactly?
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make much sense, but it's something interesting that they put out there on Twitter, and they got a little bit of back and forth there. But the next person we're gonna talk about is rumors are Paige Van Zandt, former UFC fighter. Now she had her first ever like bare knuckle brawl matchup. She lost in a losing effort this past weekend. Mm-hmm. So the rumors are that she's had contact with WWE, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, they did the thing with Ronda Rousey. They've done the thing with Cain Velasquez. They brought in Tyson Fury. People from the fight game, bringing them in. They've been talking about for years, bringing in Conor McGregor and having him in there. But they've been doing it for years. Floyd Mayweather, all that stuff. Fight game people. It's a natural transition for them to come over. Not saying that she's gonna be as natural to the business as Ronda Rousey was, but she's obviously very, very pretty, very attractive woman. She comes in immediately, has a great look to her. And yeah, you've seen. I mean, she was pushed heavy in the UFC, just didn't work out for her. And yeah, so we could see eventually down the road her come in, and it would be pretty cool to see her versus Ronda in a match or something like that, or them even team up. But yeah, the rumors are that she's had contact with WWE. It makes a lot of sense why WWE would contact her and try to bring her in eventually.
Yeah, she has name recognition. She's a fighter. She has some type of background in, fighting and getting in there in the ring, unlike the other two guys we just talked about. So this actually makes perfect sense. Yep. Like you said, she has a good following. She has a good personality. She's on YouTube. She has a lot of people on Instagram and YouTube. She's an influencer. She can bring more eyeballs to the product. So it definitely makes sense. And somebody that's a natural transition from mixed MMA to wrestling, kind of to slow it down and take. I mean, she's lost. I mean, I don't know what's the last time she won. She's lost for three or four fights in a row. Yeah. So it's like, maybe it's time to just leave that game and go here. And, I mean, you're still going to get your contact, your physical, that's still competing and fighting stuff that she would get in MMA, but just in a more controlled environment. So I don't see why. It makes perfect sense for both parties, I think. It'll add another player to the women's division that's a real fighter, a real athlete that, it's not going to be a weird transition. It makes perfect sense, and it's going to add to the group. Like it makes a perfect sense for somebody retiring from MMA or taking away from MMA and going into this. It makes perfect sense. Conor McGregor, you should probably follow soon because your last performance wasn't that great. So maybe we should jump into wrestling and do that stuff. How her promos are, I don't know. She definitely comes off kind of funny and quirky in her videos. If you look at her YouTube channel, so maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I don't know, but it makes sense. It makes sense for both parties.
It does, yeah. It makes sense. It's kind of like they bring her in. It's kind of like Ronda Rousey light. She doesn't have the same star power as Ronda, but she has some name recognition and all stuff like that. Yeah. So
she's an athlete, so it definitely adds to the. It's an easier transition. Yeah,
easier. Let's see how she takes to it. But guys, that's our video we have for you guys today. A little celebrity stuff towards the end. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Remember to like and comment. Let me know what you guys think about the celebrity stuff. What you think about Bad Bunny, Bow Wow, Paige Van Zandt, all that stuff. Let us know what you think about Monday Night Raw, tonight's episode. And just let us know what you guys think of the videos and all that good stuff. So remember to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Remember, for this working brother, not do the job.
Later, Marks.